In the aftermath of a global catastrophe, the world had fallen into chaos. A cataclysmic event, earthquakes, tsunamis, and violent storms had shattered civilization. Cities lay in ruins, and the remnants of humanity were scattered like ashes in the wind. Amidst the desolation, a lone radio host named Ethan Harris sat in a makeshift broadcasting station deep in the heart of what was once a bustling metropolis. Ethan's station was cobbled together from salvaged equipment and scraps. The walls were lined with rusted metal sheets, and a single solar panel charged the meager batteries that powered his transmitter. Each night, he broadcast his show, The Last Signal, into the void, hoping to reach any survivors who might be listening. His voice became a lifeline in the darkness, a flicker of hope in a world overrun by despair. Every broadcast began with a familiar tune, a haunting melody that resonated with loss. Ethan would share stories from survivors, piecing together a tapestry of human resilience. He spoke of families torn apart, acts of bravery amidst the ruins, and the raw will to survive. Yet, with each passing night, Ethan felt a creeping dread. He could sense he was not alone in the airwaves. On the third week of his broadcasts, as Ethan signed off for the night, a crackling noise interrupted the silence. Static filled the airwaves, and then a voice emerged, distorted and echoing. "Ethan, do you remember?" Chills crawled up his spine. He felt an odd mixture of fear and curiosity. He had expected the silence of the world, not an echo from the shadows. Gathering his courage, he leaned closer to the microphone. "I'm here. Who is this?" Ethan asked, trying to steady his voice. Silence hung for a moment before the voice returned, softer now, almost intimate. "I know your fears, your regrets. You can't escape them." Ethan's heart raced. Was this a prank? A trick of his mind? He shook off the unease, reminding himself that there were still people out there, clinging to life. He needed to continue broadcasting, to provide comfort and hope. The days turned into weeks, and the mysterious voice returned each night, weaving its way into Ethan's thoughts. It spoke of his past, bringing to light memories he had buried deep. The death of his younger sister in a car accident, the bitter fallout with his estranged father, the love he had lost to his own selfishness. Each message was more profound, revealing the darkness he had tried to forget. One night, after sharing a particularly poignant story about a mother searching for her child, the voice returned, more insistent than before. "Ethan, you can't run from your past. It will find you." With each broadcast, the atmosphere in his makeshift station grew heavier. Shadows seemed to lengthen, and whispers lingered just beyond the edges of his perception. The isolation gnawed at him, amplifying his fears. The radio became both a solace and a torment. Ethan decided to confront the voice. On a stormy night, thunder crashing in the distance, he spoke directly into the microphone. "Who are you? What do you want from me?" The static crackled violently, and then the voice spoke, clearer than ever. "I am the manifestation of your regrets. I am the storm that rages within you." Ethan felt the weight of those words. They resonated with the grief he had tried to bury. He could no longer ignore the truth. He had to confront his past to move forward. Determined, Ethan began to share his own story on air. He spoke of his sister, the accident, and how he had never forgiven himself for not being there. He recalled the last words they shared, innocent and carefree, before everything shattered. As he poured his heart out, the air grew thick with tension. The voice interrupted, laced with anger. "You think sharing will free you? You are still the coward who ran away." Ethan's breath hitched. He felt the truth of those words. He had fled from grief, from responsibility, and from connection. This was his moment of reckoning. He had to accept the weight of his past. In the days that followed, Ethan delved deeper into his memories. Each broadcast became a cathartic release, but the voice intensified, its tone shifting from accusatory to almost pleading. "Face the darkness, Ethan. Only then can you escape." One fateful night, after another story of survival, Ethan challenged the voice. "What do you want from me? What do you need?" Silence fell, thick and suffocating. Then the voice responded, almost tenderly. I want you to forgive yourself." With those words, the atmosphere shifted. The oppressive darkness lifted, and Ethan felt a warmth spreading through him. He understood he had to forgive himself to move on. On the night of the final broadcast, the storm outside intensified. Rain lashed against the windows as Ethan sat in front of the microphone, heart pounding. This was it, the moment he would confront his fears head-on. He spoke openly about his regrets, his pain, and the loss he carried. He invited the mysterious voice to join him, to share its own story. Silence enveloped him once more, but then a soft, almost sorrowful response echoed through the static. "I was created from your fears, Ethan. I am the part of you that needs healing." Tears streamed down his face as he accepted the voice as part of himself, an echo of his struggles, fears, and ultimately, his humanity. "I forgive you," he whispered, breaking the chains of his past. In that moment, the storm outside began to calm. The static faded, and a soft hum filled the air. Ethan felt an overwhelming sense of peace wash over him. As dawn broke, Ethan took a deep breath, a smile creeping across his face. He turned off the transmitter for the last time, knowing he had reached a turning point. He stepped outside into the cool morning air, the world still desolate but somehow brighter. In the distance, he could hear faint echoes of laughter and the rustling of trees, the whispers of life continuing against all odds. He was no longer just a voice in the void. He was a part of the living, ready to embrace whatever came next. With renewed hope, Ethan walked into the unknown, the memories of the past now guiding him forward rather than holding him back. The last signal had found its purpose: healing, connection, and the promise of a new beginning.